Mortal Kombat, or more accurately, should I say,
Immortal Kombat.
And with over 80 characters already in the MK universe, Chris and I decided that now would be a good time for us to rank all the fighters. This is a long list, so we're going to do this in 8 separate parts. Here's the list of rules that we set for ourselves to make these rankings.
Number 1, each fighter will be presented as they were in their original debut, meaning if they become someone else or something else at some point, then that will be 2 entries. For example, Bihan Sub-Zero and Noob Saibot, along with Sub-Zero versus Cyber Sub-Zero, will all be separate entries.
The movies will not be a part of this list. Fuck Cole Young. Fuck the producers for putting him in the movie. Fuck Arcana. Fuck all this bullshit that they put in this movie. It's a Mortal Kombat movie. We knew there was going to be fireballs. We wanted fireballs. You don't have to explain fireballs to us.
Calm down.
Sorry.
Moving on. Number 3. This list, of course, is nothing official. It's a fun project that we wanted to work on together. We used the playability, the lore, power set, personality, design, and moveset of each fighter to come up with our opinions. We'd also love to hear your opinions, though. Hit us up in the comments. Let's keep it friendly, keep it fun, and discuss away.
Finally, if you enjoy this type of content, please like, follow, and subscribe. Turn your notifications on. Ring that bell. We appreciate all your guys' support over the years, and we can't wait to keep pumping out new videos for you on this Mortal Kombat content.
Shujinko. Starting off the next list at number 60 is Shujinko, the guy who was supposed to be the most important person in Mortal Kombat history until they decided that he was no longer the most important person in Mortal Kombat history. This is the guy who appeared in Mortal Kombat Deception, and we played as him in the story mode, the Conquest mode. He was tricked rather easily, I might add, into releasing Onaga and essentially destroying everything we knew about Mortal Kombat. He led directly into Mortal Kombat Armageddon. He basically was made to look like a dumb shit that just copied the moves off everyone else. He had an okay look to him, that kind of Kill Bill, long white beard, classic like kind of monk look, but nothing about him was that interesting. What actually moves him further up this list is that he was considered a major player and one of the best fighters in the Mortal Kombat world, but they dropped him like a bad habit. He made a cameo in Mortal Kombat 11. There's really no hints that he's coming back, and it's probably for good reason. Shujinko at number 60.
Coming in at number 59, we have the mainstay to Mortal Kombat 3, the big character that nobody ever wanted, Stryker. Oh, where to begin with my man Stryker? Part of the NYPD, he apparently worked with Special Riot Control Division, because that's a thing. Stryker wound up being brought in by Raiden to help defend Earthrealm. He's got a nightstick. He's got a taser. He's got a gun. He's got all the things that a cop should have with no personality whatsoever. This character probably should have been lower on this list, but because he's a mainstay, long-lasting Mortal Kombat character, we bumped him up a little higher. His playstyle was always His special moves were always His brutalities and fatalities were always and probably having a police officer in the video games nowadays whose tagline was "Police brutality coming up" probably shouldn't be going on anymore. But hey, this is where we are. Number 59, Stryker.
What do you get when you mix Cobra Kai with Mortal Kombat? It's a trick question. You get a terrible character named Cobra. This guy was basically Mortal Kombat's answer to Street Fighter. They wanted a street brawler. They kind of looked at Ken and said, he looked like he could be okay. They gave him a white gi with some black pants and gold trim. They said, let's make him cool. He can join the Black Dragon. Then they gave him some of the worst moves ever. He has a fire punch, because who doesn't control fire in the Mortal Kombat world? They gave him 2 terrible finishing moves, and really the only finishing move he had that made a lot of sense was the Harikari, where he kills himself by ripping his heart out. He was a character that really wasn't that interesting. It was cool to see an expansion on the Black Dragon. In this particular case, in Mortal Kombat Deception, Cabal was running his own version of the Black Dragon now, but clearly that didn't last, because the moment they could, they brought back Kano to be the head of the Black Dragon clan, and that's really all that we needed to see about Cobra. He hasn't come back since, and we actually don't. No one's asking for him to come back. Cobra at number 58.
Coming in at number 57, this character first showed up in Mortal Kombat Deception. He was a terrorist from the realm of order. That's right, I'm talking about Darius. And you probably had no idea who I was talking about because no one knows this guy's backstory. No one even remembers this guy being in a game. He was basically in Deadly Alliance and then came back for the Armageddon. I'm going to put everybody in this game. This guy's so unbelievably like forgetful that I don't even know why we put him this high on the list, honestly. But he's there. He's from the realm of order. He was a terrorist. He had a pretty cool moveset from what I remember. He had a pretty decent. He was actually playable, unlike a lot of the guys from Deadly Alliance. Like they weren't that playable. He was actually had some pretty decent moves, some pretty decent powers, a pretty cool brutality, if I remember correctly. But that's Darius at our number 57 spot.
So if you haven't noticed yet, we are now in the 50s of our list, and characters are starting to get a little bit cooler, a little bit better. And we have our first kind of interesting new character that was introduced in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. This is the first vampire in the Mortal Kombat world, Nitara. She actually made her live action debut in the last movie. That kind of shows you how interesting and how cool her character can be. She obviously drinks blood as she's a vampire. She has giant wings. I mean, they had a good design for her character. The lore wise was kind of lacking. The moveset was kind of lacking. Her fatalities weren't so bad. But otherwise, this is kind of the first, in my opinion, branch or turn, I should say, into the better characters, especially as they started bringing newer and newer characters and designs into the Mortal Kombat games. There's not a lot of Mortal Kombat, 3D Mortal Kombat characters that carry over into the newer games, but she's one of them that really should be brought back, given a redesign. I would love to see her in Mortal Kombat 1, not 12, Mortal Kombat 1, and to kind of see them really kind of get a little more creative with her moveset and her drinking blood to gain power and strength and survive and all that stuff. That's Nitara at number 56.
At number 55, we have one of the newer characters in Mortal Kombat. He first debuted as DLC in Mortal Kombat X and as a standard playable character in Mortal Kombat 11. We have Triborg. That's right. What do you get when you take 3 awesome robot fighters in Mortal Kombat and slam them all into one character? A mediocre robot fighter. That's right. He's not as good as either Cyrax or Sector or even Cyber Smoke or even Cyber Sub-Zero at that point. But he does have some pretty awesome moves, taking the best parts out of all of them and trying to mash them into one. The problem why this guy landed lower on our list than the other cyborgs is that he has no in-depth personality about himself, whereas the other ones do. They have their own movesets, their own different ways of play style and everything like that. This guy's kind of a mishmash of everything that they kind of missed on. So I'm excited to see what they do with Triborg. Maybe they can kind of hone him in a little bit and bring us a more all-round, well-rounded fighter. But for right now, at 55, that's where Triborg's sitting.
So at number 54, we have another Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance origin character. This character's name is Su Hao. He was a member of the Red Dragon. He had a kind of a cool backstory or cool lore where he basically infiltrated the Special Forces, which is Sonya and Jax's group, kind of took him down. He was working for the Red Dragon, and he answered to Movado. But you know it's saying something when the person who's not in charge of the Red Dragon is ranked higher on the list than Movado. That's how bad he was. This guy had it was like a pulsating heart. He had like a red, like cybernetic thing. It basically made him stronger. He had a decent fatality with a giant fire beam from his chest that would break his opponent in two. Kind of a cool look. He's the one and only Mongolian character in the Mortal Kombat world. And honestly, he was always fun to play as. He was more of like a brawler, which is not something Mortal Kombat generally has. So Su Hao at number 54.
At number 53, we have the Cleric of Chaos himself, Havoc. That's right. My man Havoc coming in at the 53 spot. This guy has all types of weird stuff going on with him. He looks like a zombie. He's got a great moveset, awesome powers. really, really was one of the better characters from Mortal Kombat Deception, right? Deception brought us a bunch of characters that we were kind of like about. Havoc stood above the rest. Great backstory with him being a terrorist or an anarchist, as they like to call him, in the chaos realm. He's a cleric of chaos himself. He is Havoc. Awesome power set. I love his move set as well. Very easy to play as. Was a great addition to the Mortal Kombat universe. That's your number 53 spot, Havoc.
Pop quiz. What do you do when you create a game-changing video game and you had come up with one of the most original, badass sub-bosses ever in Mortal Kombat 1 with Goro? It's a trick question. You add some fur. That's basically what they did for this next entry at number 52, Kintaro. He's the sub-boss in Mortal Kombat 2. He was brought back from Mortal Kombat Trilogy as a playable character and then brought back again when they rebooted the series with MK9 and the games after that. He's essentially Goro with some cat fur, cat feet, some tiger stripes. I think they in the lore of the games, they essentially say that he's like a lower class version of the Shokan, which is Goro's and Shiva's species or nationality or whatever it is. But there's really nothing that special about him. However, another big dude with 4 arms that can beat the hell out of you is always very cool to play with. I always loved the look of the character and the moveset he had. It didn't really feel different than Goro, but they did in later games try to give him a different personality, just change it up a little bit. I would absolutely love to see them bring him back with a new design, make him a little bit more unique than Goro so they don't look the same, and give him a better personality the same way they did Shiva. Number 52, Kintaro.
Rounding out this list at number 51, we have the Titan herself, Kronika, the big bad from Mortal Kombat 11. We've all been going down this timeline rabbit hole caused by Kronika and Raiden and Liu Kang and all this stuff that's been going on with Mortal Kombat 11. Kronika, as a character and backstory, was great to have something new, having time powers, all this stuff. But as a boss in an MK game, she lacks a little bit of the brutality and the fatality that we want to see from a boss. That's why she comes so far down on our list. She is a Titan. She is the class above Elder Gods. She takes some leniency with Raiden and how he's developed this new brutal style of stopping threats to Earthrealm before they happen. And she decides to start rewriting history. And we get the whole story for Mortal Kombat 11 with the Hourglass and Kronika and all of that stuff. And it kind of fell flat, honestly. Her moveset, when you finally get to play as her, isn't as great as you would want it to be. And for being a Titan in the Mortal Kombat games, she seemed pretty easy to beat. So that being said, that's 51. That's the end of this 10, Kronika. So a lot of Deadly Alliance in this one, huh?
It's kind of fitting that the first 3D Mortal Kombat game, they gave us a lot of brand new characters, and a lot of them sucked. the 3D world was not kind to a lot of games, and Mortal Kombat was no different. It was obviously much better, dude, when they rebooted it with MK9 and went back to the 2D style.
I would like to give a shout out to Su Hao, by the way, because I used to main him in Deadly Alliance. I was a big fan of his character, but a lot of these, like, they just fell really, really flat, and that's where we're coming into. But we're starting. I see the light, my friend. I see the light for the next few videos. We've got some banger characters coming up. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That was number 60 through 51, video number 3 in the books. We're moving on to the top 50 characters in the Mortal Kombat world, starting with our next video.